We are live, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? Happy Saturday! It's the Vibes Alive radio show podcast. The best way I could think to ever follow up the Saturday sesh, hanging with Cory and Ryan from Dubbest.
What's
Welcome,
up?
guys. How you guys doing?
What's
Doing
going
great.
on? We're doing good. Happy to
Hell
be
yeah!
here.
I'm glad to have you. I mean, the Vibes Alive radio show started about 5 years ago now. So I think in the very early days, I got to do a couple interviews with you guys. Called you the wrong names. It was so embarrassing. It was like one of the best interviews though, because we got you guys played music in the green room at Last Exit. There was just this overall amazing dynamic that you guys have and a synergy that you have as a band that I got to really see firsthand. I guess probably about 5 years ago was the first time I saw you guys live, but I had gone to Closer to the Sun in 2017 and somebody was talking about the best Will Dub. Yeah, so I got
Yeah.
give credit where
Great.
credit's due. Yeah, and he was like, "Have you ever heard of these guys?" I'm like, "I haven't, but I really want to check them out just because their name and the logo." To be
Yeah.
honest, and then you guys just came through and just man, let's talk about your journey up to this point because 15 years as a band, 15 years to do anything is a long time, and there's always a great evolution. So you guys started in Boston, now in San Diego. Kind of take us on that journey a little bit, how it started and what you're thinking about the highlights maybe of the past 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's appropriate that it's me and Cory because we met I think we met in first grade. So I've known Cory forever. Cory started, I don't know when you started playing guitar, but he started showing me music, like how to play guitar and stuff in like fifth and sixth grade. And then we were playing punk and all that stuff and having a lot of fun just playing music for years. And all the guys that are in the best currently were kind of people we met through school and in middle school and high school. And we all formed all these different bands and it distilled down into the best when we graduated. And yeah, and then we just started touring and moved out to Cali, and it's been really good. That's like the absolute highlights, but all kinds of journeys along the way.
Well, let's talk about your guys' sound because I feel like I hear obviously a lot of different bands, a lot of different music, but you guys have what I feel is a sound of your own. Like you talk about maybe some like the influences because I feel like you guys have some very unique influences that you bring to every song, like in your process of writing, etc. So what is it that's influenced you guys over the past, not just the last 15 years, but kind of as your sound evolves and grows, what's been helping you push that along?
I think we're super into like the roots reggae stuff. Like that's what really inspired us to practice singing harmonies and kind of just bring together a really original like rootsy sound, but without writing, like Rasta stuff per se, or like Jamaicans do. But we kind of have like an Americanized way of writing it. But we also like are super inspired by like soul. So I think that kind of brings in a unique blend to our music.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the soul, and then also like even just the early influence with punk, I think gave us a little edge, and we are really into all the jam, like not all the jam bands, but a lot of the jam band scene, like Fish and the Dead and stuff, and
Yeah.
just kind of inspired by a lot of different genres, and trying to take the best little nuggets of each genre we like and use little pieces of it.
Right, 100%. So, in terms of recording and albums, I know you guys are working on something now, but up to this point, like, is there ever been? I don't want to like ask you to pinpoint a track, but maybe because I think we all have our favorites along the way. Was there ever a part of any of these albums or any of the singles that you guys felt was just like, yes, like you figured out the best recipe, like you got all the best elements to it, and like if you had to pick a couple songs and you say like this is it and this is why, is there anything that stands out?
Cory, what do you think?
I would
Sorry, that
probably
was a
say
hell of a
like
question. My bad.
no, it's
Oh, I
cool.
like it. I like it.
I think when we started working with Craig Welch in Boston, that's kind of when he helped us really hone in on what we were good at, and like that was during we recorded Heat and Water, the single, with him, but a year after that or so we recorded Light Flashes, the full length, and I think that's where we really like got comfortable with our sound, and I'd probably say maybe things like Spend the Day and like One Thing were probably like a good example of those songs.
Mm.
And from there, like we went back to him to record the next album, Gold Fever, And a similar thing, we felt super comfortable with him, and we kind of knew what we were going for. He's a really good producer, good like roots reggae dude. He's from like 10 Foot Ganja Plant, and he recorded a lot of John Brown's Body, Giant Panda records and stuff like that.
Yeah, Gold Fever is one of my absolute favorite albums that you guys have put together. I think whenever I think of that album, I immediately think of Terra Firmata.
Nice.
Because that sound is just like, it's, I mean, no, not even a bad thing. It's like a video game meets like this classic, just like, I don't know. But then I always think, how the hell did they put this together? Like, where did this come from? Like, it's just so cool. Like, you guys, yeah.
What's cool about Craig, with Craig Welsh is he definitely would push our boundaries, where like a lot of times you'd come in with like an idea, or like we'd have a song that was good, but it didn't have anything like it rhythmically, we didn't have any drums planned or something. And Craig would help us like revamp the song and make it and like bring it to life. And if we were thinking like a lot of times he'd say something like, how about something really wacky or like quirky? Like he would just say something like that. And then you start thinking like, oh, what does that mean? And then where could we go with that? Because also like, you know, reggae is a very flexible genre, and a lot of times it gets reduced down to like the same kind of sound. Like it's very easy to do one simplified version of reggae. Yeah. But if you listen to even like Bob Marley and a lot of the classics, their stuff is so unique and complex, and it's not like typical reggae at all. So it's really cool to just push the boundaries. Terra Firmata, like, you know, that beat has been touched on before. Like I think John Brown's Body had a little had a song with that beat, and even like Culture may have touched beats like that. But we were like, you know, it's the wacky side of reggae that didn't get enough appreciation, that we're like, we got to bring in this. And that, I think Gold Fever was a lot of that, where we pushed the boundaries rhythmically to see like where it would go, and it came up with some fun for sure.
A good example of that is that song "What If I" on Gold Fever too. It's just like the marching like snare roll throughout the whole song, basically. It's a good, quirky example of like something he kind of thought was a cool idea.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, both are etched in my musical memories. Like very, very, very awesome. Yeah, excited for you know, you guys did the collab with Ayaterra, which I've played, I feel like, a lot. Right Your Wrongs, great track. But you guys are now in the studio recording a new single about, I think, a very popular subject or substance. Tell us a little bit about that. What's going on?
Yeah, it's a subject untouched by us pretty much at this point. But yeah, no, we decided, it wasn't necessarily a conscious decision, but ideas started popping up, and it was like, all right, we're gonna try this kind of weed anthem type song, but we wanted to do it in a tasteful way, where it's not just leaning into the tropes of like weed ganja anthems, and be a little more like under the surface with, or just, you know, just try it our own way, basically.
Yeah.
So and then Cory came up with a cool like instrumental idea thing and presented it to the band, and then it kind of worked with an idea that I already had in my head, and it just kind of came together. So yeah, we went and recorded it with Lewis Richards at 17th Street just like a week ago or something now.
Yeah, last weekend.
That's awesome. So a ganja anthem, not really the typical ganja anthem, a Dubbest style is coming our way. What's the name of the track? Do you have that figured out yet?
Slow Burn.
Slow Burn. All right. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. And guys, I'm also looking forward to shows. We got shows coming up. You guys got shows coming up. You're celebrating the 15th anniversary. I know you got one in San Diego. Where's that going to be? Is that the Music Box?
The Holding Company in OB.
Oh, see, I knew it was 3 words. Yeah. I was close.
THC.
Right. Hey, that's easy enough to remember.
Yeah.
All right. So what's up with that show? When is that?
That's April 4th. So this Thursday, we're going to be playing with Vibe Strong and Sand Dollar, who's from San Diego, and Vibe Strong's from New Mexico. With I believe some of the members of the Rhythms are in Vibe Strong, so it should be a good show. But we're putting together a whole new set. Like a lot of new songs are being debuted at those shows. Some new little antics, some cool stuff. We're pretty excited to do it. Yeah, it's been a few years since we like headlined San Diego. We've kind of been holding off for a little while and just doing support shows all around for a while. So
well, you guys deserve the longer set time. I'm really looking forward to seeing it, because you are coming here to Arizona to Last Exit Live, which to me is better than Disneyland. I love that venue. It's just got great people and great sound, and Arizona just fits in so nicely in that wonderful space. And so you're gonna be jamming with Tropic Vibrations, Chris Bowen Vibes, and that's it. So that means it's like that's a fucking awesome lineup. I'm really excited about all of those things coming together. I was trying not to cuss, but that was worth cussing for because, yeah, man, I'm excited about that. Vibe Strong is going to be making their way through Tucson, so we're going to be seeing those guys on Wednesday, and then Friday, we're going to be Dubbest in. So I'm really excited about that. If you all have not got your tickets, you should get your tickets because they're coming all the way from San Diego to make this show, to be in Arizona, and I'm really, 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 I know I've said it, I'm going to say it again, stoked.
Yeah, man, we're super excited. We've always like felt right at home in the Phoenix area, the Arizona area. Like it's kind of always been our second home since we moved to California. There's a really good scene there. Everyone's super supportive and friendly. We always love coming back.
Yeah, we love having you guys, and I'm excited about all the different things that there are to really celebrate because again, this sound and you guys being a cohesive unit for that amount of time comes with, I'm sure, a lot of challenges, and being on the road and like travel and just all the things that it takes to make everything happen.
Sure.
Do you guys got any like they don't need to be PG because it's the internet, but any like favorite stories from the road, like anything that just stands out from like so glad we were out there and this happened, like the random truck stop, the best food somewhere random, like anything that somebody like is not going to be, they might not know because they haven't spent the time traveling the country like you guys have.
I will say one very unique story that we shared, like being on the road. I think it was our first tour of California, but we were doing like couch surfing at all of our shows. We were just kind of crashing on people's couches and stuff through the couch surfing app or website. And one day in California, somebody offered us a place to stay. And then last minute after the show, they said they ended up having a party. So I'm just going to get you guys an Airbnb. And we got a message from like Courtney Love saying that she got us an Airbnb and that she's sending us money for gas and beer. And we were all kind of like, bullshit. Like that's not Courtney Love. Like, but we ended up like going to her like verified Twitter and she like reposted the show and stuff like that. And we got a PayPal from Courtney Love Cobain. And we always thought that was pretty strange. But the guy that we were originally talking to that like allows couch surfers, he was like this dude in LA who like managed Britney Spears and like Amanda Bynes and like random stuff like that, like when they were going through like bad times. I don't know if he was like really a good guy from what I heard, but like he was hosting a lot of bands, and I guess he was friends with Courtney Love. So like at the same time, she decided to help us out, which is pretty weird.
I think it was like her, based on what they told us, like her friends were kind of at the house or something. So she was like, they couldn't let us stay because it was Courtney Love and her friends were there. So she felt bad. And then obviously we were like, it's definitely not Courtney Love. Like that's just, he's insane. Like he probably thinks he's Courtney Love. Like he's probably out of his mind. And then he was like, check your Twitter or something. And like, we looked and it was like, she shared her verified Twitter page, like shared our post or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and she hooked us up with like a few $100 too for like, she said like for beers or gas or something like that. It was like a nice little message and it was cool.
Totally. I think we tagged her on Instagram too, like when we shared a post about that situation and she commented and said something. So
I mean, I think it's worth throwing out another post, tagging her, and saying what's up to Courtney Love because it's probably been a few years. That's amazing though. That's awesome. That is a random story from the road. I appreciate that, guys. I'm full of all kinds of random questions this morning. To be honest, I love doing these podcasts because they really are just conversations. I don't have anything like scripted. I'm just talking to some friends. So this is definitely cool. We got a lot of people. It looks like watching online, which is fun.
Nice.
Big shout out to you guys. Thanks for hanging with us here in Arizona this morning. We've talked about the shows, we've talked about the single, we've talked about 15 years together. I mean, I guess really there isn't too much more because I want to be respectful of your guys' time. But if I had to think of one more question, I think I really would like to kind of talk a little bit about San Diego because we have a great Arizona community, but when I think of California, there's obviously there's Los Angeles and you have all the big cities and whatnot, but like San Diego stands out to me as an artist community. And I feel like I just see more and more of this growth that comes from San Diego. Like it appears that there's a lot of real good collaboration. Like, what have you guys found from being there? Like, you went there, you've stayed there. So how has that community helped you guys over the past 15 years, or just keep the formation of what you're doing going?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways. And I think, Boston was really great to us. We grew up there and we loved it, but like we did feel like we were kind of stagnating a little bit there when we just were hitting the same kind of loops like over and over again. And then when we moved to California, it feel like the doors opened to a whole new community of people that we had no access to before, and just being like around people that you had always heard about or seen online and stuff. And all of a sudden I'm like, we can go have conversations with them and go to shows. And we're a couple hours from LA, and like all these different, San Diego is an incredible city, just weather-wise and all that too. But the music scene and the connection with all the bands is really huge, because there's not as many. There's some of our favorite bands are from the Northeast, but the reggae scene is a little smaller there. It's a little more insulated. And so when you move here, it's just very open. There's a ton of bands, a ton of reggae fans. The default like genre of music in San Diego is reggae, So
Right.
It's easy to find people that love it. And there's a ton of people in the community here just kind of out and about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty like almost intimidating when you move out here as an outsider, like the amount of reggae bands here, and like all the big reggae bands are kind of from California. But once you like really start working in the scene and like meeting these people, they're all like super friendly and everyone's super supportive.
Yep.
Like the bands that we loved the most have been some of the bands that end up taking us on tour and just like giving us advice, trying to help us through the rocky roads of the music business,
Yep.
Yeah, they're all really supportive.
Yeah, connections to bands like Fortunate Youth. Those guys have been so unbelievably good to us in ways I can't even like express. It's just great. Like K-Bong, like some of these people that we've met since we moved here. I think we met Fortunate Youth like a couple weeks after we moved to San Diego. We were like passing out flyers at the Observatory. Stick Figure show. We weren't actually at the show. We actually played a different show that night and then went there to pass out flyers after. And then we met Paulie Herman, who's actually going to be working with us on these next couple shows. But he was just there and he was like, "Oh, come meet the boys." And he like tried to bring us on the tour bus, and we met the guys in Fortunate Youth. It was great. It was a fun night. So yeah, just like those kind of things they weren't happening in Boston. They probably do happen if you're in the right place at the right time, but it's just different. It's a different city.
Yeah. It's great to see. I mean, talking about Boston, I feel like there's a lot of bands coming out from that area now. Like I feel like the density is growing, like the crowds are growing. The festivals like Levitate. I mean, shout out to Colby. That's an awesome thing that they're doing out there. Like it's a destination now when I'm thinking about the places to go, even for Vibes Alive. Like if we ever did a road show again, the road show is going to have to stop in Boston, because now there's just so much. Like there has to be so many great new sounds that are popping out from that area with all those amazing influences so close by. So it's really cool. Yeah. Big shout out to Boston for having you guys and supporting you guys to get you guys out here to keep doing what you're doing, because it's all cyclical, right?
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, I'm sure the scene in Boston has even changed since we've left too. And I know like there are a lot more bands and there's a lot more of a culture of it there. It's like we left it because we have to, but I'm sure that there is. It seems like the scene is growing a lot there. I think things have changed a good amount.
Yeah. Shout out the Elevators for sure. I mean, like those guys are killing it, and they're keeping their roots in the South Shore.
Yeah, it's doable for sure.
Some of my favorite people in that band that I've met along the way, 100%. Just the Elevators are great, and it's just cool to see again just that community. I mean, when you see a Levitate show, I see it go up and then I see it sold out. I mean, it's just like, it seems like it's so quick, and that's just cool. And like the Elevators, like you said, getting a big old billboard on the freeway, seeing that they're doing the damn thing. It's just, it's great. It's great.
Selling out House of Blues. House of Blues was like, that's a huge venue in Boston. We used to like go see big shows there, we'd like dream of playing shows like that.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure you guys will be there. It's not too far away. I mean, it's amazing how these things are growing, and you guys doing what you're doing and just being such a staple part of this community and the sound of this community, and just great people. Thank you for being who you are and doing what you do. I'm super excited about these shows. So if you're in San Diego on Thursday, you're going to go to the THC, the holding company. Check out Dubbest. They're going to be out there with Vibe Strong. And who is the other one? I'm sorry.
Sand Dollar.
$1. All right. And then you're going to come out on Friday night to Last Exit Live, Chris Bowen Vibes, Tropic Vibration, and Dubbest. Lots to celebrate. Celebrating you guys, celebrating this community. Thank you for taking the time to hang out today. And yeah, man, appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you, Brett. Thank you, Arizona. Appreciate everyone out there listening.
Right on. Peace, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Thanks,
See you guys later.
See you.